Hello and welcome back to RamsTalkPodcast. And we're here today after Derby's third straight win. Who saw that coming a few weeks ago? We've turned it around. We're flying up the table. E-I-E-I-E-I-O up to 17th we go. I saw someone put yesterday, which made me laugh. And it's looking a lot more positive. Derby are looking like a team that are starting to believe in not just themselves, but believe in what they can do too. So joining me today to go all the way through it, first off, we have got Ivan Little. How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. 3 games, 9 points. Very, very happy after the start of the season that we've had. So over the moon. I'm winning at Bramall Lane for the first time in 200 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, put it in the description, first time since 2011, which is certainly a while ago. We've also got Rob Gregory. How you doing, Rob?
Good evening, Jake. I'm good, thank you. Even better after yesterday. My first away trip for a while, and my first one to Bramall Lane since 1995, where I also saw Derby won 2-0 that day. So, maybe I'm a bit of a good luck omen for Bramall Lane.
You could be right. That has also made me feel very young, and I'm sure you very old, Rob, because that was years before I was born. So there we go.
Thanks, Jake.
Stuff. Yeah, no worries, mate. always here to bring you up, you know. So, Ivan, I mean, there's no other place we can start other than Derby's hat-trick hero, Callum Morris. Now, I was surprised to hear he'd never scored a career hat-trick. Which is crazy considering, you know, the career that he's had, especially with Luton going up to the Premier League. And we'll go through the goals, obviously, one by one. But overall, as a performance, he's come in, he scored 8 goals in 12 games. He was written off by Luton fans as a player that was, you know, I guess finished. He was done. They said that, you know, he wasn't any good at all. What a terrible signing for us. What a signing Carlton Morris has been.
Yeah, I mean, what was he, 500,000, something like that, maybe a little bit more than that. Yesterday he was fantastic, and he just sort of showed with all 3 goals what he can bring to us, especially with the second one. I mean, all 3 finishes, obviously there was a penalty in there, but the first 2 finishes were great. Lovely ball in from Ward, which would have helped, but just getting in those positions is so important. And for the second goal, had he not worked so hard to try and block the keeper's kick, he wouldn't have been up there. So he fully deserves all 3. He's up to 7 for the season, I think it is.
8.
7 in, oh, was it 8? 8 in 12. So not all 8 in 13. So not a bad return at all for someone that didn't really cost us any money. And he's already beaten his tally from the whole of last season, and we're, you know, just about in November. So I'm really, really happy that he's been getting his goals, because he dried up a little bit after that initial 4 that he got. So very, very happy for him.
Well, Rob, what we're seeing is he excels when he's the main man, right? We saw in those first few games of the season, we played their back 5 and he was the focal point, and he scored goals and he held the ball up and he played well. We changed to that weird front 4 system, and it just didn't work for him at all. Like we said last week, he was tripping over Ajimang's very long legs, and it just wasn't working for Derby at all. And now he's the focal point again. He's scoring goals again. We've seen people comparing him to Derby strikers of the past. He's 2 goals off Jerry Yates' total from last season. I know that wasn't all Yates' fault, but I mean, it's still pretty ridiculous that he's that close already to eclipsing Derby's top goal scorer of last season. Is he the best striker we've had since Chris Martin?
We had that discussion with my family yesterday. I was at the game. He's certainly the most like Chris Martin we've had in that kind of ilk of player. He's just what we've been needing, hasn't he, for such a long time now, in terms of he doesn't do anything superlative. There's no step overs. There's nothing kind of out the bag. He just works super hard. He's got a great touch. He's got a great presence. He does the simple things. He keeps the ball for us. He gets us up the pitch. And he's a threat in front of goal. He will still run in behind, even though he's not got the pace necessarily. And in that sense, he is very Chris Martin. He's not going to set the world alight for pace, but he is a real good rounded centre forward, and he's just what Derby have needed for so long. It's great to have him in the team. I guess your point about changing systems, that's just part of having that many new players dumped on you in one fell swoop. And I guess that's where it felt like the fan base, and maybe rightly so, we're running out of a bit of patience with Eustace, but I think he has needed to go through that process. And thank goodness the last 3 games have shown that it's not troubling camp. There's nothing too much to worry about. We just needed to find a bit of rhythm, and I think we're getting there now.
Yes, I completely agree. Before we move on to that first goal, Jimmy/Richard in the comments has asked what the results were today. Big 13-0 win for the Hilton today. Come on, what a win for the girls this afternoon. It's I tell you, it's easy, this management. You know, you can see how Eustace has turned it around. It's just an easy job. I don't understand what the problem is a lot of the time. But Ivan, let's look at that first goal, because it's a really good set piece, isn't it? We talked about Joe Ward a lot last week, and about how, you know, who should come in on that right hand side. Is it Ward? Is it Nyambe? Nyambe's obviously the defensive choice. Ward's the more attacking choice. And it's paid off instantly. Great ball into the box. Great run from Morris. Lovely sort of cushioned header into that bottom corner. And it was exactly the start that Derby needed.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, classic, no real routine, just swing it as close as you can to the keeper and someone get ahead on it. And it's you know, it's been coming. So we've got some big lads up there who can all score. And he's obviously the main person that you want to find. But yeah, just all Ward's corners were fantastic. I thought his delivery all day were really good. He should have, well, he wouldn't have got assist for the other one, but shortly after he put one right on Matt Clark's head where Morris nearly had another one at the back post. So he was on it the whole time. They obviously wanted to put it right in the 6-yard box, which it seems like Johnston was having a little bit of trouble getting exactly where Ward's getting it. But yeah, after, I was really disappointed when Johnston went down, and I was worried about who we're going to put on corners. Are we going to be able to utilise having such a big team? And Ward came in and did really well. But full credit to Morris. He was there. He lost his man and put it in the back of the net. So.
Yeah, he certainly did. I don't know if you could hear any fireworks through my microphone. Someone's going mental down the road from me and setting loads off. It's crazy. I feel like I'm in a war zone. Rob, we saw last season we were very dangerous from set pieces, weren't we? And this season that had kind of dried up a little bit. We haven't seen quite as much success as we've had. Is that a step in the right direction?
Yes, you'd have to say so. I mean, Paul won for everything. He wasn't. Certainly he had that bit nailed down, didn't he, for a period? Certainly the League One, Paul won side anyway. But even last season, I think probably that got us out of jail all the time. So it is great to see. As Ivan said, there's a huge presence when you're watching the game live. You really notice we're a big side, we're a big threat there, and you can see even from Fozzie Langas all up there, you can see that we should be able to be a real threat off set pieces. Still got to work out some of the delivery. I thought Joe Ward was good. I still think it's a bit weird. Fozzie's on dangerous free kicks into the box. Nothing
pull away.
It just feels odd that you're like lining up your 36, 37-year-old fullback to take them. But still room probably for improvement. But yeah, I think, of course, a step in the right direction to bag one off there, and we'll give the lads confidence, hopefully. Yeah,
you definitely hope so. And that second goal, now, half-time came and went. You know, they were still playing Greasy Chip Butty, weren't they, over the
unbelievable.
Over the
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, such funny timing. You do, I guess you kind of feel sorry for them a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's so funny. I mean, one of my best mates is a Sheffield United fan, and what he'd said was, when Peck had experienced players around him, he was great. And he's a really good player, and he's only young, he's learning, but he had the players around him to kind of guide him, much like when Max Bird came through and he had Rudy next to him, for example. You know, that really helped him and elevated his game. But it's a great ball. You know, he turns well, he looks up, he spots Morris through on goal, and plays a lovely, perfectly weighted pass through to him. And Morris, it's a really nice finish, actually. Just looks up at the last moment, doesn't he? Lifts it over the goalkeeper into the back of the net. Away in goes crazy, as you probably expect. And Ivan, obviously it's come from a mistake. It felt a little bit like Jackson's against Middlesbrough last season, which was just as funny. But again, Morris had to be in the right position, didn't he? He was either meant to be on the shoulder, or he was, like you said, he was still coming back from trying to block the keeper's kick. All that comes from is clever strikers play, and he took it very well too.
Yeah, it's a great finish, and I was stressing out watching it because it felt like about 10 minutes of him running forward. Not that he's slow, but just like, when someone's going through. Yeah, when someone's going through, you're just like, oh, please, like, just shoot. Don't let the keeper get near the ball or anything like that. Don't try and go around him. And he did it perfectly. But yeah, I think I was on about 3 episodes ago, and I was saying how I can't remember the last time one of our strikers was played through on goal. And it just turned out that we needed one of their players to give us a little hand with that. So wasn't going to trust our two midfielders to do it. So they gave us a little gift then. But yeah, the goal came at a great time as well. You always want to score around half time. Either side always, does a job. And I think it just settled them in that second half, because there's a chance, Sheffield United playing at home, they could have easily come at us and sort of, broken us down a little bit, and then it ends with a 1-1 and we're happy. But it's, but putting that goal away just meant that they started having to push forward. They were panicking a bit. Fans started leaving super early, and then they were getting on them. So it was a great time to score, great finish. And I hope he gets a couple more opportunities like that, because he's so physical, but you can see that he's got a lot of technique. That is not an easy finish that most people would have just sort of slotted it along the floor, and he took the time and knew, I think it was Ben Mee running after him, who isn't the quickest. He knew he had the time to get it right, and I'm glad he did.
Yeah, I am as well, actually. Funny you say that. Rob, how much of a lift did it give the away end?
I've got to go back to that greasy chip butty thing. I've never seen anything like that. When you look down as a team, like their fans must have been absolutely embarrassed. It was Tim Pot. He didn't even start playing it until after they kicked off. And the only travesty is he manages to turn it off before Morris finishes.
They stopped it. That would have been amazing.
It was unreal. I can only imagine the round of whatever he got from the team afterwards when he got back in. But yeah, the way in went absolutely nuts, as you imagine. I semi-debating whether I was having a heart attack at the time, bouncing around. It was just one of them where you're not expecting it. Everyone just got back to the seat, and like you say, you look up, he's through on goal, but even in the stands, it felt an eternity for him to get to the goal. But he does everything right, doesn't he? His small touches, bringing the keeper out. He's just waiting for his moment. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. Sign of an absolutely quality player to be able to have that sort of composure in front of goal. So going back to him, he deserves all the plaudits he got yesterday. Superb.
He certainly does. But he wasn't done there. Patrick Agyemang, who is probably the most confusing footballer I've ever seen in my life, because he is the best, worst footballer I've ever come across. His first touch, like we've said before, it's like he's got steel toe caps on or small trampolines on his feet or something like that. And the ball bounces away and he kind of chases after it. But a minute later, he'll do something magic. And he'll, that the clip that Derby posted earlier today of him sort of putting it through the defender's legs and running down the line. He's such an exciting footballer to watch. I love seeing him play for Derby, and he gets himself into the box. Finally, a defender is punished for diving when a player breathes behind them. It's only taken 20 years of watching football to see that, and the defender just feels Agyemang's sheer presence nearby and throws himself to the ground. Cracking save, holds the ball well on the floor, and ref gives the penalty. Who else is going to take it? It's Carlton Morris, and he puts it away in the bottom corner. You feel a bit nervous, Ivan, when you saw Morris put the ball down on the spot?
I felt more nervous when I saw Big Pat holding the ball before he took it.
Absolutely.
I was like, let's just take a step back there, Pat. All right. But yeah, no, it was. I was a little bit nervous, but no, I had confidence that he was gonna put it away. He's already scored 2 this season, which seems like a lot considering how many penalties we've had in the last sort of 10 years. It feels like we've had a lot recently. But yeah, I'm saying it's my biggest pet peeve in football is the defender back to goal. You literally just have to touch them and they go down, they get it every single time. And it's the most infuriating thing in the entire world. And yeah, he had the bottle to give it, which is great. It probably should have been a foul the other way for Agyemang sort of yanking him back. But yeah, we'll take it. It was an important goal as well, because after they scored, you thought, had it been 2-1, it's a lot more nervy 10 minutes. And yeah, giving Carlton Morris his first ever hat-trick, which is very surprising, was great. But yeah, Agyemang's so great to watch. He's he has no idea what he's going to do. So how the hell any of the defenders are going to have any idea what he's going to do is beyond me. So it's great great watching. And we were so worried about not having wingers at the start of the season. It seems like he's not a winger, but using his pace out wide has really helped the team, really helped Morris, as you said, getting them away from each other. And yeah, I think he'll finish the season with more assists than he does goals, and plenty of stuff off the stat sheet that will be helping us as well.
Yeah, I find it interesting with Ajimang. You look at him, like obviously FOTMobs are usually a decent gauge of how well a player's played, and every game he's getting low ratings, isn't he? And it always comes up that he loses loads of duels and he loses the ball, but then you watch it with your eyes and he causes chaos. You know, he every single game he's played, defenders hate him. He's big, he's strong, he's quick, and he will actually carry the ball. It's not like he's just running onto it and smacking it in. Like, he will carry that ball and he will try and do something with it. Sometimes he makes the wrong decision. I think we were Brereton Diaz, if you just laid him off, he had not necessarily a sitter, but a really good opportunity, and he decided to cut inside and try and shoot himself. But yeah, he's so unpredictable. I think the thing is, he doesn't know what he wants to do, which makes him, how are you meant to read him if he himself doesn't know what he's actually doing, which is good to watch. But Rob, last time Derby scored 3 goals away from home in the league was the 3-1 at West Brom last year.
You were going to quiz me then. I was worried.
No, I did think about it. But I thought I'll let him off. I'll go have a look. But that third goal in that game, Mendes Lang obviously lobbing it over the keeper, putting it in the back of the net. Absolute pandemonium in that away end. I'm sure it was very similar yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Of course, with the penalty, everyone's just got time to prep and get nicely ready to bounce around, haven't they? So it's a slightly different vibe to the second one, which is the complete opposite. No one's quite ready for it. But equally as worried as Ivan was when Ajimang picked the ball up, and it looked for a long time like that was happening. Like,
whoa.
But to be fair, maybe no need to be. To reiterate some of the points, he's just unorthodox, isn't he? He's like, I guess, a lot of the stats world that's been developed around football is around this more sanitized version of it, where the stats do generally show players that are better. When you get a bit of a live wire like him that is unorthodox, then he's probably not going to show on the stats that kind of reflect on a different kind of football. You watch him and he's doing things that just aren't what you're supposed to do, but they kind of work. When the ball comes over his head, he gives them 5 yards, turns and runs directly at them head on, things like that. It's just very, very bizarre to watch, but it's obviously there's a player in there, there's pace in there, he's exciting, he's definitely driving for goal, and we've needed that as well. So I think with a bit of coaching maybe and a bit more of a footing in the team, like Ivan said, if we're using his pace out wide and we're getting a bit more consistency with the selection, then I think he'll only improve.
Yeah, certainly will. Before we take a look at their goal as well, let's talk about that defence, because Derby's defence has had a lot of plaudits recently. Obviously, we had a bit of a ropey start to the season, didn't we? Conceding goals left, right and centre. 5 against Coventry, 3 against Stoke are the ones that stick out to me the most. And we just didn't look secure. Whereas the last few games, Derby's defence has been unbelievable. I mean, we were talking before we started recording, Langus's mystery injury in his, crotch area. Who knows what happened there? I worry for him. God knows what's gone on. But you've got him, you've got Dion Sanderson, who's a changed man compared to the start of the season. And then you've got, obviously, Matt Clark, who's just been fantastic. That last-ditch tackle that he made in the first half was really, really impressive. That's the sort of tackle, if he doesn't make it, we concede there and then. It's a no-brainer. They will run through. They will score. They've got the quality. But he just gets back in time. Despite the fact that he looks really slow, he always seems to manage to get himself there, which is a really good trait to have. But, Ivan, they're starting to grow, aren't they? That sort of, it's not a partnership because there's 3 of them. I don't know what you'd even call that. A trio, I don't know. But you saw at the end of the game, Sanderson and Langus throwing each other around in front of the away end. The funny picture of, them both getting launched around there. They're starting to grow together as a team. And they look really, really confident at the moment. Can you see this carrying on?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously we had a lot of worries at the start of the season with the sort of back four that we were rolling out with Nyambe and Danny Barth and stuff with all the injuries. But I was never really worried about Sanderson. I think he had not like 2 or 3 not amazing games. He was never bad, so I don't really think there was like a huge turnaround. I think he's a really good player, and I think them as a 3 just complement each other really well, especially with the way that they sort of move around. And Langas is just so quick. He's like, I every time I've seen him at the end of the game running, like, especially yesterday, he's like sprinting up at left and right wing at the end. Like, he just seems like he's a really sort of polished player who will probably have a hard time keeping a hold of for a long time. But he looks great. All 3 of them. I love Matt Clark so much. I think he's fantastic. I think he's the sort of level head at the back, where the other 2 are a little bit more sort of, risk takers. Matt Clark's he's going to head everything away. He's going to win every tackle. He's pretty rare that he gets beaten one-on-one. Occasionally he doesn't have the pace, but that's where the other 2 come in. So I was a little bit worried. I thought Eustace was just going to try and play a back 4 forever. So I don't think he loved playing with that back 3. And you could see he was always trying to go back to that sort of 4-2-3-1 or whatever it was, or 4-2-4. But yeah, it looks really good. I hope we stay like this, because it's so much easier for the 2 midfielders now. There seems like there's less space for them to have to cover. And yeah, as soon as we sort of sort the fullbacks out, because I think, Ward will get injured again inevitably, and that will be a sort of tricky spot in the future. And Fozzie's a little bit too old now to be sort of running up and down the line, especially when Big Pat up front isn't going to do too much tracking back. So yeah, it's the spot. It's the first thing you want to get right is the back line, and with Zetterstrom behind them, it looks like, especially at home, it's much easier to shut people out, and then it's just about how good they are getting the ball forward, and they've done a great job this last week. So hopefully it continues on Tuesday, where I think they'll have quite a big task with a very attacking team. So
yeah, they certainly will. And Rob, let's talk about Sondre Langas in particular. I mean, we talk about how quick he is on the pitch. He's rapid off the pitch. I've never seen a man change his shorts with such speed and precision. Like, he leapt into that new pair. They panned away for half a second, panned back, and he was back. He was ready. Ivan mentioned there, that run towards the end, he carried the ball 60, 70 yards. This is a centre half. It's a centre back, and he's galloping forwards with the ball. He looks quality, and it's crazy to think, how many games has he played now? 3 games back from injury. I mean, he looks special. Yeah, 2.5 games. I mean, how high is his ceiling?
I think in terms of the back 3, he's a transformation, isn't he? The other 2 are rock solid. Clark particularly, I second everything Ivan just said in terms of Mr. Dependable. He does the right things, and he's definitely he's going to be a fan's favourite in his second spell. But Sondre Langas is, when you talk about Martin and Morris, he is the closest thing I've seen to Stimac since him, and I don't think that's doing. He's not got the footballing flair that Stimac had as an off the bat, if you like. He's going to have to develop that. But in terms of that pace across the ground, his football now to get round and make runs and get us out of trouble. He's so exciting to watch, and such a great prospect for us to have on the books. I mean, yeah, he could go somewhere else, but we're going to get a lot of money for him, hopefully, if that happens. And that would be a great move for us. But I think it's no surprise he's come back into the team, and all of a sudden that we're picking up, look a lot stronger, look a lot more difficult to break down, better going forward even. I think he's just got such a huge presence on the pitch. You can see he's a leader without having to wear the captain's armband. So for all the kind of dross that's come through our recruitment system, he's definitely one that we should be very proud of, and something that hopefully stands us in good stead, however it plays out, whether he takes us to the promised land or he leaves for a humongous fee.
Well, it'll take a humongous fee, won't it? How much should we pay for him? 3, 4, 5 million? I'd say he's probably going to end up costing a lot more than that towards the end. But yeah, he's such a good player. What I love about him as well is he loves it. Like, he absolutely loves it. Like, every block, every tackle, every goal, he's going mental every time. He absolutely loves it. He's probably got a couple of screws loose, and that's probably part of it. But Yeah, such a talented player, and yeah, I mean, I don't want to give him the Haldmine curse, but I'll say I think we do need to enjoy him whilst he's here, because there's no way that man's staying forever with the quality that he's got. Unless we, as Rob said, go up to the promised land, I can't see him sticking around for too long, because he is that good, and at his age as well. There's going to be, I think, a comment from Useless Enthusiast says Brentford or Bournemouth written all over him. He really does, doesn't he? He's that sort of player. That they love to sign from leagues like the Championship. But let's talk about the goal we did concede 10 minutes after we went 3-0 up. It was a bit of a silly goal. It was unlucky, I'd say, to be fair. It kind of bounces off a few players, doesn't it? Falls to O'Hare. Derby did make a substitution right on the throw-in, which I wasn't sure about. Obviously, bringing Rhian Brewster onto the pitch. And I think it was actually Brewster's man, O'Hare, that ended up scoring the goal. But Ivan, we did show a bit of Derby, didn't we? In that moment, it felt a little bit Derby. We've scored 3 goals. We kind of coasted a little bit, and then we just kind of gift them a goal and let them back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of joked to you before the pod that I was a little bit more nervous at 3-0 than I was at 1-0. I think mainly because I had a Chelsea and Liverpool fan watching with me who were Sheffield United fans for the day. So I was a little bit worried about that, but yeah, it's a long throw, and the whole point of the long throw is not to score directly from it. You want it to bounce around and just get it in there, because the keeper can't come and get it. And of course it dropped. I'm not really too worried about who was marking who, because as soon as it drops like that, you get 7 people going for the header, because you have way more time to judge where it's going. So everyone's heading it. It's always going to drop somewhere. You're never going to get a clean, clearance on it straight away. And to be fair to O'Hare, he dribbled around in a very, very tight space and smashed it into the net and cost us a 3rd consecutive clean sheet, which I was desperate for. But yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I think afterwards you saw that it wasn't like I was kind of prepared for the onslaught, like they were going to just chuck everything at us, and I didn't really see another chance where they were going to score. I wasn't too worried. I just thought the back 3 looked great. Ozo just started to sit deeper, and we looked really controlled. We weren't lashing at anything. We weren't sort of, heading 50 balls out of the box. They've been the same all season. They've got nothing going forward apart from O'Hare, who's looked pretty good the last few games. But I wasn't worried about them at all. We could probably done with 2 of the back 3 back there. Dealing with them, and having all 3 of them meant that Langas could run off to right wing and do what he does. I can't wait for him to score, by the way. I think especially if it's home, I think he'll dive into the south stand and do something really odd. But yeah, I can't. He's the one player I need a proper header from, and then see what he's got in the tank.
It's Shefty Kuchi kind of thing, just throw himself on the
floor. I think
floor.
It Bryson in the net kind of thing, just sort of like going nuts, just rip through it maybe. Something
Get
weird.
The game postponed.
Yeah. Smash the crossbar, something like that. Just anything. I think it would be great.
Oh, definitely. It did make me laugh. Chris Wilder came out after the game saying he had no number 9s available, and that they brought Ryan Onay off the bench, who's a striker. Danny Ings, ex-England international, off the bench. He's a striker. Tom Cannon, they paid 10 million for in January, and he wasn't even in the squad, and he said that was for tactical reasons. So yeah, some managers, eh? But Rob, rest of the game, Derby looked solid, didn't they? And they continued that solidity that they'd showed for the last few games, really, and we're unlucky probably not to score more goals. We haven't really mentioned Zetterstrom in recent weeks, mainly because everyone's played so well, but he made another few important saves. But the thing that impressed me most about him is how good his distribution is at the minute. Whether it's throwing, whether it's kicking, whether it's off the floor, whether it's out of his hands, he just seems to have got it nailed on now, doesn't he?
Definitely, yeah. I think he's obviously had a bit of a shaky one towards the start of the season, moving back into last season, but he's come into his own now, and the last couple of games particularly, he's kept us in it, where we've been losing by the odd goal. It could have been a lot worse. And yesterday, when you actually look at it, yeah, they didn't have loads of chances, but it could have easily been a different game without him there, without those 2 big saves. It was hard to see quite how good they were from the away, and then I was low down, but they looked good. It looked like, I haven't seen the highlights back, but they looked like they were important saves, things that could have gone in. His presence was good, like you say, his distribution, and they're definitely going to try and keep playing out from the back. So it's important that he's involved in in that part and style of play. And as the back three, stroke back five become more confident, more consistent, then hopefully he can play his part in that as well.
My rogue prediction for this year was that he'd get a goal involvement, whether that be a goal or an assist. So I'm hoping he nearly got one the other week with a long throw, and we ran through on goal. I think the shot was blocked. So that's got to be the next thing, hasn't it? If he can get himself an assist, that'd be fantastic. And
I think he'll be going up for corners only in cup games. I can feel like he's that kind of keeper, definitely.
Yeah, that'd be nice to see, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
we'll have to see if we get in the cup. Can you imagine last minute gets himself up there, bullet header, top corner? That'd be funny. His hair sort of going everywhere.
Yeah.
But now he's not got the cap on. It'd be some sight, I'm sure. It'd certainly be some sight. But one thing we spoke about a couple of weeks ago was to do with Derby's midfield, and we were asking who should come in the middle, because a certain player, Ibu Adams, had been suspended because he had his millionth booking, as he tends to do. Bobby Clark came in and he's changed everything, hasn't he? Really, he was exceptional the other night. He was really, really good again, I thought, yesterday. And him and Ozo are starting to build a bit of a partnership in the middle now. They're starting to learn each other's game. They play off each other quite nicely, and they're starting to link up with players around them. And it's always a weird one, isn't it? When a player drops out, whether it be injury, whether it be suspension, you always kind of think, what would have happened if they hadn't have got injured? What would have happened if they hadn't got suspended? But at the minute, Ivan, it's looking like that suspension might actually have done us some good.
Yeah, I mean, I was calling for it for a while because I couldn't understand Ebu playing with Ozo because they're just too similar in what they do, and Ozo's not the type of player that's going to sort of ping a pass or draw a couple of players. Like he's unbelievably good at what he does, but he needs someone next to him who's creative, who can potentially go past someone who can, play a quick pass and move, which he doesn't tend to do. So yeah, it's a shame about Ebu, but I think we all knew, even in League One, what his limitations were. Like that's just the player he is. He's very good at. Unbelievably good at what he does, and not so good at the stuff that he doesn't do. So yeah, I'm really happy that he's sort of cemented his place in there. I know there's the rumours that he might be leaving us in January, which would obviously be a bit of a shame. But it makes me question what Travis's role is coming back, because I know it isn't that soon, but captain, spent some money on him. Eustace obviously loves him. He's a massive fan of him. So that worries me a little bit, because I don't want someone like that sitting on the bench, but he didn't really show us enough when he was playing that he doesn't deserve the spot back. If he was fit today, he wouldn't play next game for me. So that would be a tricky thing, but you'd rather have that issue than not have it. At the start of the season, it was like, who are we going to play? Like, they're all terrible. So it's nice to have that issue than not. But yeah, I think if we can keep hold of Clark, he'll be really important for us going forward. And he just creates that outlet between the centre backs and the strikers, who are moving around all the time. So he's got a really nice role in that formation. That's a really nice role to have. And if you can take advantage of it, then you can look like a really, really good player. And if you can't, then you sort of ghost out of games. So I'm really happy with how he's doing, and I hope he continues to work as hard as he does.
Yeah, me too. I'm just looking at the comments. Vic Singh seems to be organising some sort of house party. I don't really know what's going on. I'm intrigued, but I'm sure we're all invited. So make sure you contact him to get on the guest list. But Rob, it's almost like Ivan's read my notes where I've written, word for word. Do Adams or Travis get back in? Do they?
Well, you certainly can't change that after Saturday. I agree that neither of those guys get back in. And Adams is a bit different. He's got a lot of credit in the bank in terms of we've known him for a long time, whereas Travis has come in, been made captain, and as a fan, your manager comes in, he knows him from the back, make him captain, you're expecting big performances and an instant impact, and that isn't easy. I'm not criticising him, but he certainly didn't deliver that at all, and therefore he kind of needs to sit this one out and let this phase go, and then he'll get his chance again, and it's his time to come back in. That's the way I would see it. There might be a game where it makes sense to tactically mix it up and bring him back in, but based on the way it went yesterday, as Ivan said, they played nicely together. Clark can carry the ball forward, technically sound. No way would I be changing it for the next game, only when and if the opportunity presents itself tactically, or whether there's another injury bout, which no doubt there will be, then the chance will present itself for Travis and Ebo. I'm sure it's a long season and old cliches. I'm sure they'll get back in, but I'd certainly be keeping momentum the way it's going.
Yeah, I agree. I think when I look at the midfielders that we've got, if we're always going to play a 2 every time with that front 3 in front of them, you've got to have one who's a bit bigger, a bit stronger, can break the play up if they need to, and then you've got to have one that's more creative that can progress the ball forward. I think both of them are pretty progressive, which Eustace Enthusiast said in the comments as well, which is quite important, right? Whereas before, Ozo looked lost because Ibu next to him couldn't pass the ball forwards, and it made it a lot more difficult. So I think at the minute, I think Clark's got to play, and I think one of Ozo or Travis also has to play, because I think they can play similar roles. Ozo maybe a little bit more progressive, Travis a bit more defensive. I don't really know where Ibu Adams sits right now. I think at the minute, his best role would be off the bench, like he did yesterday. Bring him off the bench if you're winning a game, and let him run round and break up attacks and help defend. And that's the perfect role for him, in my eyes. If he can do that, then he'll be a massive asset for us. I guess it's just whether for his career he'd want to do that. But like you say, Rob, season's long, isn't it? Someone will get injured soon. You know what it's like. Well, someone will get injured soon.
Yes, absolutely.
So he'll be straight back in the team. He'll be back next week probably. When Clark and Ozo both do their ACLs or something like that, because that's what we like. But
in training,
yeah, standard.
Eustace tackle.
Yeah, and as they're walking into the treatment room, they kind of trip over Owen Beck, and it adds another 3 months to his recovery time. We might see him one day. We never know. I can't take this seriously anymore. Ivan, there's a little bit of a chat going on in the comments about captaincy. I've always said I don't really see it as a massive big thing, if I'm honest. I don't think it matters that much. You can have leaders on the pitch. For me, the captain is not as big of a role as maybe it was. But Carlton Morris seems to have taken that role, and he seems to have really grabbed it by the scruff of the neck when he's played. Would you like to see him keep the armband?
I don't really mind, to be honest. I think that, like you said, the beauty of the team that we've got, I think we've got a really great group, and I think we have a ton of leaders in there all over the pitch. And I think when that happens, they're all mature lads. I don't think I think they'll want to have the armband, just for pride's sake.
Instagram photo,
yeah, exactly. So that you can get that off. But other than that, I don't think they're that bothered about it. So I don't think we should be bothered about it. I think again, similar to the last thing I was talking about, it's a good problem to have. Not knowing who should be captain is a nice thing. Having Ebu and Travis not playing and being, loud in the dressing room, and having Morris and having, Clark at the back. We've a lot of players in there that aren't afraid to sort of, say their piece, I would imagine. So, yeah, Morris was captain for Luton last year, and he seems to like being that sort of focal point and leading us out there. But I don't think it makes too much of a difference. And to be honest, as long as he's scoring, I don't really care. He can play in goal for all I care. I'm not really bothered about who's got the armband.
Yeah, you just heard the police in the background there. They're looking for a man who stole Callum Boocock's barber. I don't know who that might be. I'm sure they'll find him. Rob, what are your thoughts on the captaincy?
I definitely would. I'm quite strong on it. I thought the Travis thing was just a little bit odd. I mean, it's purely Eustace bringing his guy in and making a statement. And I think Morris, basically, I think the reason I would do it, to keep it simple, is I think Morris plays every game. I think he's probably first on the team sheet. And I think that's important that, your captain's playing. Whereas I'm not sure Travis is, as we've just discussed, may miss the next 3 or 4 games, hopefully, if things continue to go well. And therefore, you've got your captain sat on the bench. You've then got who you're going to give captaincy to. It just messes it up. I think to keep it simple, I'd be giving it to who is the main guy, and he's a natural leader. He's got everything going for him. I probably would move it. He probably can't move it 3 times in a season. That's a bit odd as well. So he's kind of made a rod for his own back with the Travis decision, really. But I probably would do it, actually.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's definitely interesting. It's always a good talking point. Could do the Paul Warne tactic and just kind of like throw it in the dressing room and see if it hits. Just get everyone to line up, and like a wedding, they throw the bouquet over the shoulder. We'll see who the captain's armband lands on today, and who gets to wear it, which I won't be surprised if that was the strategy last year. But right, we've got to look ahead to the 2 games that are upcoming in the week. On the Tuesday, we've got Hull, who look very good at the moment, worryingly good, I would say. They just seem to win all the time. I mean, they've won, 4 of the last 5? And that one was a draw against this Charlton Athletic super team that seems to be flying up the league at the minute. And then at the weekend, we've got Blackburn. It's a very important anniversary game, which is why we've only got 2,000 rather than the usual 6,000 away tickets available, or that's the excuse they gave. Obviously, lots of history there with Eustace, etc. So it's going to be interesting, Ivan. It's going to be difficult. How do you see them both going?
Yeah, I seem to always be Mr. Optimistic with these things, and so I'm keeping that going. I do think we'll beat Blackburn for sure, but I am obviously worried about as much. I am a little bit worried about Hull. Yeah, not that. Yeah, I'm not tempting fate or anything. I just just don't rate them really. They're just not very good. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think Hull look really good. They've had some nice wins, like winning at St Andrews. I think they've beaten Sheffield United. There's a couple of games in there when they've looked really good, and it's going to be a tough game. I was saying before, I'm really glad that it's at home in a game that we should be up for. And I mean, they beat Norwich on the weekend, who look terrible. And Norwich created a lot of chances. They have a good team, so you'd naturally think that would happen, even though they are where they are. There's an opportunity for us to score some goals. And then from then, it's just putting the trust in the back line and Zetterstrom to keep them out the way they have. I hope we don't have any injury issues. I'm always worried about Ward. And after that, it's Nyambe, who doesn't fit playing a right wing back role at all. So hopefully everyone stays fit, and we sort of see the same team that goes out there. But I think Hull will be tricky. If there's ever a game where we'll be really frustrated and on the back foot, then it could be that. But easy 3 points next Saturday, so no problem.
We can't say things like this. Well, Blackburn have just beaten Southampton and Leicester, obviously 2 of the relegated teams. I think Southampton have just sacked Will Still. I don't know if that's recent. Someone's put it in the comments a minute ago.
That just happened tonight.
Which is interesting for them in the battle for mid-table with us, which will be a fun watch, I'm sure. Rob, what do you reckon? How do you see them both going?
The absolute opposite to Ivan. I live in Hull, and so I'm quite up on the Hull City. They were hugely worried at the start of the season after sort of the back end of last season and the shenanigans that went on. So I think that they're overperforming massively. They've got some momentum for sure, but I think they're beatable. I think we're capable of giving them a game, certainly. Being back at home with the momentum we have, I'm not saying that's a given, but I'd make us slight favourites for that game. I don't think there's anything to fear there. It's going to be one of those games where the first goal is really important. I think the way that we're playing with momentum, with a consistent side, if we can get in front, I think we're really, really difficult to get back from that. I'm more worried about Blackburn. I'm sure someone's going to come in the comments and correct me. I cannot remember the last time we got much in Blackburn. We just don't seem to play very well there, in my memory. And maybe that's a longer history than you, but I just don't have many good memories from Blackburn at all. And therefore, I'm more worried about it. Obviously, they'll be absolutely bang up for it as well with the situation with Eustace. So there's just a bit of needle there. And it's a cup final for them. Pretty much they'll be wanting to do it for their fans. I just think there's a bit more on it for them maybe than there is for us. And therefore, of the two games I can see, I'm more worried about Blackburn. But there's absolutely nothing stopping this side going and winning both of those games. I don't think there's anything to fear in this division. I think when I came on earlier the season or the pre-season one, I said that we could be right up there. Obviously overly optimistic, but I think this season's championship, there's nothing there. I don't think anyone's going to run away with it. I don't think there's much quality in it. I think if we could get some momentum, there's nothing to stop us being in and around the playoffs and possibly even higher. But I think one thing at a time, let's just keep this kind of form going. But there's none of those games you look at and you think, God, we're going to really, there's no leads in there or one of them where you kind of like looking at it thinking, I don't see how we're going to get a result here. So I think every game you're kind of looking at with some level of optimism.
Last time we beat Blackburn at Ewood Park, 17th of September 2014.
There you go. I wasn't wrong then.
Yeah. A
I
brace
thought when you
from
said
Jamie
17,
Ward.
I thought that was the year for a second.
No. A brace from Jamie Ward and a goal from Will Hughes helped us beat Blackburn 3-2 away from home.
I like Ivan's optimism there.
Yeah, I know. Easy. Not
the same about Sheffield United, yeah.
Go on, let's have some score predictions from goal scorers, Ivan. And if you've got any in the comments, please let us know as well. Ivan, what do you reckon?
I'm going to go 1-1 after conceding with Hull. And I think it will be Big Pat. Not sure about what the goal is going to be. Don't think I'll know with any of his goals. And then Blackburn, I think will win 2-1. I don't know the scorers because I don't know who's going to be fit in 6 days' time, let alone
you can't skip this. You've got to give.
All right, fine. I'll go.
You can't change the rules.
I'll go a Ward sort of accidental cross goal for the first one. Then we'll concede, and then I'll have another Carlton Morris header. I think.
I like it.
That'll be the winner.
We did one, I think, last season. It might have been in January. We'll start whatever it was, and I predicted someone to score, and we sold them like a day later, which was typical. Rob, what's your score prediction? Goal scorers, mate?
I will go 2-0 on Tuesday. Carlton Morris just after half time again. Let's go, and then they'll come chasing the game, and we'll kill it off late on with Hayden Jackson off the bench. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, I'm sorry, I'm just too old and too long in the tooth. I'll go 1-0 to Blackburn, last minute, horrible. Wish I'd not gone. One of them, that's what I'm going.
That would end Caden Jackson's 37 games without a goal, which I'm sure he would certainly appreciate. Yeah, Luton away last year was the last time that he scored, which was a great day. I'm sure we all look back with great fondness. Taking a little look in the comments, Jim says we're going to beat Hull 4-0. And he says we're going to beat Blackburn 2-0. I like it. Eustace Enthusiast says Derby 3, Hull 2, Langus double, and then we'll... God, I can't even read. And Morris, and then we'll be Blackburn 2-0, Sanderson and Adjumang to score. And then we need to play Greasy Chip Butty on Tuesday after half time to get the team fired up. We've also got Peter Kerr, who says he expects us to win 2-1 on Tuesday and 1-0 at the weekend. A lot of surprise about the easy 3 points comment, Ivan. I might clip that if we lose. Vic Singh says we're going to win 2-0 on Tuesday, Clark and Morris, and then a 1-1 draw against Blackburn with a Langus equaliser. Ross Sharp says a 2-1 win against Hull with Colt. And he said Chris Martin and Adjumang to score as well, along with 2-0 away at Blackburn. I'm going to go with, I reckon, 2-1 against Hull, the old 2-1, the Goalanger classic. I think Adjumang's going to score with some mystery body part in a scramble in the box, and then Sundra Angus is going to score and diving header through the net into the south stand and probably injure himself and many spectators. And then I reckon 1-1 against Blackburn. I think, like Rob says, I think it's going to be really tough. They're going to be well up for that, and Ewood Park might even be half full. So it's going to be a difficult game on what is a big occasion for them. But we've ruined West Brom's big occasion. Can we do it for a second time this season? I hope so. So, oh, I'm out of breath after that. Thank you so much for listening. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like. Please do subscribe if you're on YouTube. Spotify and Apple Pods. We've got loads of ratings over the last week, by the way, like a crazy amount. Please rate us 5-star. It does make a massive difference to us, and it helps new people find the pod as well and join the community, which is always welcome and really, really great. And yeah, it's going all right, isn't it? We're playing well. We're winning games. That's good. 3 wins in what, 2 weeks? I can't remember how long it was. Where we got 3 wins before. Was it like last year or something like that? That we've had to wait for that sort of thing to happen. So yeah, it's going well. Let's keep things positive. Let's support the team. Hopefully we'll see everyone there on Tuesday, and it'll be a nice game. So it is goodbye from me.
I was going to finish up by singing "Greasy Chip Botty," but I don't know.
I was doing the same. I was literally doing the same.
Well, I'll let you do it because I don't know the words. I'll do the Carlton Morris bit. You can do the.
You turn on my sensors? That's what I was trying to work out as well.
No idea.
Oh, okay.
Just keep playing it. It's going to be on the playlist at halftime for us. So, yeah, goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me. And a greasy chip botty.
And as as goal.com says, you fill up my sensors like a gallon of. I mean, it's pronounced magnet. It's definitely not pronounced that. It's like Manier or something like that. These lyrics are awful. I can see why we won. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you soon, and hopefully be back with a few more points. Goodbye.